If you're over 60 and want to escape the dangerous cycle of intestinal breakdown, chronic systemic inflammation, and the terrifying reality of accelerated tissue degeneration, this powerful combination isn't optional. It's absolutely essential for your survival. Without it, your intestinal lining continues to deteriorate at an alarming rate, allowing toxins to flood your bloodstream and trigger inflammatory cascades that are silently destroying your joints, brain, and vital organs. It repairs your crumbling gut barrier, extinguishes the raging inflammatory fires throughout your body, recharges your rapidly depleting collagen reserves, and restores proper immune function that you're losing with each passing day. No expensive prescription anti-inflammatories with their devastating side effects, no synthetic gut formulas that barely work. Just 3 natural ingredients that could literally save your body from falling apart from the inside out. And wait until you hear about the shocking discovery researchers made about seniors who don't consume these healing foods regularly. The cellular damage happens faster and spreads wider than anyone realized. Let's get started before another day of intestinal deterioration passes. And if you're finding this valuable already, go ahead and hit that like button. It helps more seniors discover this potentially life-saving information. Bone broth, that rich golden liquid simmered from animal bones and connective tissue, is a true powerhouse in the world of gut healing and a critical missing element in the diet of most American seniors who face increasingly dangerous intestinal permeability and collagen depletion. It doesn't matter if you're just getting started on your wellness journey or have been prioritizing health for decades. There's always a way to fit this extraordinary food into your routine before it's too late. Basic bone broth consumption is the foundation, perfect for anyone wanting to get into the rhythm, support their rapidly failing gut barrier, and understand the benefits without complexity. Enhanced bone broth combinations, on the other hand, push the body harder, activate more healing mechanisms, and deliver that collagen and amino acid boost so many seniors desperately need when facing the frightening reality of age-related tissue deterioration. One prepares and leads into the other. The basic version focuses on gut-healing compounds and essential amino acids. It works the intestinal lining, connective tissue integrity, and inflammatory pathways with gentle efficiency, countering the dangerous breakdown that happens with each passing day in those who ignore this remedy. The enhanced versions bring in complementary foods, hitting critical immune regulation, compromise cell membrane integrity, and even detoxification pathways more intensely. Both have one thing in common. They deliver real results and help prevent the devastating health spiral that can begin with something as invisible as gut barrier dysfunction. From actually healing the microscopic tears in your intestinal lining that are letting toxins into your bloodstream to finally reducing the systemic inflammation that's destroying your joints and tissues, these small wins show the quiet impact of a powerful natural food that could mean the difference between thriving and merely surviving. To start with basic bone broth, it's important to understand what makes it so special and what makes its absence in your diet so concerning. Bone broth contains remarkable compounds called glycosaminoglycans, including glucosamine, chondroitin, and hyaluronic acid, that directly repair damaged gut lining, which research shows becomes increasingly critical as your intestinal cells lose regenerative capacity at an accelerating rate after age 60. This might not sound immediately relevant to inflammation, but groundbreaking research has repeatedly confirmed the critical gut inflammation connection that most doctors never discuss with their patients. Intestinal barrier dysfunction directly influences whole body inflammation, creating a cascade of inflammatory responses that becomes dramatically more destructive with age. When your gut barrier is intact, your entire immune system functions more efficiently, preventing the inflammatory overreactions that damage tissues throughout your body. That's why many seniors report dramatic reductions in joint pain, skin problems, and digestive distress after incorporating bone broth into their daily routine, while those who don't continue to experience a frightening escalation in both gut permeability and systemic inflammation. But the benefits don't stop at gut healing, and I'll reveal another shocking benefit shortly. First, you need to know that bone broth contains essential amino acids, including glycine, proline, and glutamine, all critical for tissue repair and dangerously deficient in most senior diets. It's rich in minerals including calcium, magnesium, phosphorus, and potassium that support bone density and cellular function. The gelatin in bone broth supports healthy gut bacteria while coating the intestinal lining, preventing the dangerous leakage of toxins and undigested food particles that leads to autoimmune responses and systemic inflammation. For seniors dealing with chronic joint pain, a major sign of collagen breakdown and inflammation, this is particularly valuable. Just 1 cup of properly prepared bone broth daily can make the difference between accelerating breakdown and actual tissue repair. One key point: bone broth must be simmered for at least 12 to 24 hours to extract the maximum collagen, amino acids, and minerals from the bones. Quick versions simply don't provide the same healing compounds. Start with 1 cup daily, preferably on an empty stomach, to allow the healing compounds direct access to your gut lining. Do this consistently for 3 to 4 weeks, and you'll begin to notice improvements in joint pain, digestive comfort, and overall inflammation that signal your body is finally getting the building blocks it desperately needs for repair. And if you like what bone broth can do on its own, hang tight, because what's coming next will supercharge those benefits. Fresh parsley and Shiitake mushrooms, nature's powerful anti-inflammatory and immune-regulating foods that work synergistically with bone broth in ways modern medicine is just beginning to understand. In fact, traditional healing systems, which are centuries ahead of Western medicine in understanding food as medicine, have documented this combination's remarkable effects on gut immune function, while America's seniors continue to face a frightening rise in inflammatory conditions. But before we reveal these additional critical ingredients, if you're finding this information helpful, take a quick second to tap that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss our upcoming videos on powerful natural remedies for seniors. You simply can't afford to miss what's coming next. Now let's dive into the amazing benefits of fresh parsley, and why not having it in your bone broth could be allowing dangerous heavy metals to accumulate in your tissues while inflammation continues unchecked. Fresh parsley is, without exaggeration, one of the most important natural additions for enhancing bone broth and fighting the dangerous inflammatory overload and toxin accumulation that intensify with each passing year after 60. When used correctly, it becomes a kind of natural medicine for your increasingly toxic system, overburdened detoxification pathways, and weakening cellular defense mechanisms. And the best part? You don't need any special preparation. With the help of simple, fresh parsley found in most grocery stores, anyone can get started before it's too late. The idea is, support your body's detoxification systems so you can eliminate what matters: the heavy metals and environmental toxins that trigger the frightening inflammatory responses that come with age-related detox decline, the free radicals that accelerate cellular damage without adequate antioxidant support, and the accumulated waste products that burden your already stressed elimination pathways. If you're looking to halt the terrifying progression of systemic inflammation, enhance natural detoxification, or simply experience the cellular protection that most of your peers have forgotten exists, this is a non-negotiable addition to your bone broth regimen. Parsley, Petrosolinum crispum, activates powerful compounds including apigenin, luteolin, and quercetin that work in a deep, controlled way to support anti-inflammatory pathways that weaken daily without this crucial food. But there's more, and this is where it gets truly alarming. It also contains one of nature's most effective chelating agents, chlorophyll, which helps remove heavy metals and environmental toxins that accumulate in tissues at an accelerating rate as we age. These toxins directly trigger inflammatory responses and accelerate tissue breakdown throughout your body. That means you're not only working to reduce current inflammation, but also eliminating the environmental triggers that most seniors are accumulating at an accelerating rate due to weakened detoxification systems. You don't have to think of parsley as just a garnish that gets pushed to the side of the plate. You benefit from it every time you support critical detoxification pathways, neutralize dangerous free radicals, or strengthen your cellular defenses against the constant assault of inflammatory compounds. Mastering the use of fresh parsley is key to both immediate anti-inflammatory effects and protection against the toxin-triggered inflammation that causes unnecessary suffering for countless seniors each year. Parsley contains some of the highest concentrations of natural compounds that support detoxification and anti-inflammatory action, particularly apigenin and luteolin, that researchers were shocked to discover have potent effects on reducing pro-inflammatory cytokines that rise dramatically with age. Studies have shown that these flavonoids can significantly regulate inflammatory responses, making them particularly valuable for seniors dealing with joint pain, skin inflammation, and digestive irritation that worsen dangerously with age. In fact, some research indicates that regular consumption of these plant compounds can help maintain better inflammatory regulation even as we age, while those who avoid them face a steady, frightening increase in inflammatory markers of up to 300% by age 70 compared to properly nourished individuals. But wait until you hear what happens when we add the third critical ingredient to this combination. The results are nothing short of remarkable, and I'll share that shortly. First, you need to understand that for those with chronic inflammation, something that becomes critically common with age, parsley provides natural support that could quite literally save your joints and tissues from destruction. It's incredibly rich in vitamin C, vitamin K, and folate, which directly impact your body's ability to regulate inflammatory responses and repair damaged tissues. Many seniors find that improved antioxidant intake leads to less systemic inflammation, fewer flare-ups of inflammatory conditions, and even better recovery from exertion, while those without adequate antioxidant support struggle daily with symptoms they incorrectly attribute to just getting old. Parsley also contains volatile oils that help gently support kidney function and urinary health, aiding the body's natural elimination of inflammatory waste products that become increasingly burdensome with each passing year. To incorporate fresh parsley effectively before it's too late, start with adding 1/4 cup of finely chopped fresh parsley to each quart of bone broth during the last 10 minutes of cooking. Using it at the end of cooking preserves the volatile oils and delicate compounds that provide many of the anti-inflammatory benefits. You can also sprinkle additional fresh parsley on top of each serving for maximum benefit. If you're new to using parsley therapeutically, start with smaller amounts and gradually increase as your taste adjusts. The key is consistency. Daily use provides the most significant benefits, whether you're addressing current inflammatory conditions or hoping to prevent the frightening cascade of inflammation that comes from ignoring this crucial food. Now let's talk about the third crucial ingredient in this healing combination: Shiitake mushrooms, and why their absence from your bone broth could be leaving your immune system dangerously dysregulated and unable to properly control inflammation. Shiitake mushrooms, Lentinula edodes, are, without question, one of the most powerful medicinal foods for restoring balanced immune function in an aging body that's increasingly prone to inflammatory overreactions. When incorporated correctly, Shiitake mushrooms become a sophisticated immune modulator for your increasingly confused immune responses, depleted adaptive immunity, and weakening resistance to everyday pathogens. These aren't just ordinary mushrooms. They contain beta-glucans and polysaccharides that essentially train your immune system to respond appropriately, strengthening responses when needed while preventing the destructive inflammatory overreactions that damage your tissues. This dual-direction action is something no pharmaceutical anti-inflammatory can accomplish, and it's absolutely critical for seniors whose immune function becomes increasingly erratic with age. The lentinin in Shiitake mushrooms has been extensively studied for its remarkable ability to enhance cellular immunity while simultaneously controlling excessive inflammation. It's this balanced approach that makes Shiitake so valuable for seniors dealing with the paradoxical combination of weakened immunity against infections alongside increased inflammatory reactions. Without this balanced regulation, your body either cannot fight off pathogens effectively or it overreacts with unnecessary inflammatory responses that damage your own tissues, a dangerous combination that worsens yearly after age 60. But there's more. Shiitake mushrooms also contain powerful compounds called aritadenine and sterols that support cardiovascular health by helping to regulate cholesterol levels and improve circulation. This enhanced circulation ensures that the healing compounds from your bone broth and parsley actually reach the damaged tissues throughout your body that desperately need them. It's this comprehensive, whole-body approach that makes Shiitake such an essential addition to the healing power of bone broth. What's truly alarming is that most seniors are completely missing this immune-regulating food in their diet, leaving their body with no way to properly control the inflammatory responses that are silently destroying their joints, blood vessels, brain tissue, and vital organs. Without proper immune regulation, even the best anti-inflammatory approaches will ultimately fail as the body continues to trigger inappropriate inflammatory cascades. To incorporate Shiitake mushrooms effectively before your immune function deteriorates further, add 4 to 5 medium-dried Shiitake mushrooms, about 1/4 cup when sliced, to each quart of bone broth during the last 30 minutes of simmering. Dried shiitakes actually have higher concentrations of the beta-glucans and immune-modulating compounds than fresh ones. A rare instance where the dried version is more medicinally potent. They will rehydrate in the hot broth and release their immune-regulating compounds. If using fresh shiitakes, use about 1/2 cup sliced and simmer for 20 minutes to extract the beneficial compounds. The earthiness of the mushrooms actually enhances the savory flavor of the broth while delivering these critical immune benefits. Now here's where the real magic happens. When bone broth, fresh parsley, and shiitake mushrooms come together. This combination isn't just good, it's synergistic, meaning the benefits are far greater than what you get from taking each food separately. And this is truly critical information that most Western doctors will never share with you. It's the kind of comprehensive healing approach that traditional medicine systems have understood for centuries, which may explain why cultures consuming these healing broths regularly enjoy dramatically lower rates of inflammatory conditions that plague American seniors. When these 3 powerful foods are combined in one healing broth, you're addressing multiple aspects of rapidly declining health simultaneously. The collagen and amino acids in bone broth immediately go to work repairing your damaged gut lining, sealing the dangerous microscopic tears that allow toxins and undigested food particles to enter your bloodstream and trigger inflammatory responses throughout your body. This enhanced gut barrier function then works with parsley's detoxification support to help remove accumulated toxins and heavy metals that directly trigger inflammatory responses. Meanwhile, the shiitake mushrooms are regulating your immune function, ensuring that your body responds appropriately to threats without the destructive inflammatory overreactions that damage your own tissues. For seniors dealing with chronic inflammation, joint deterioration, and digestive breakdown, conditions affecting millions of Americans over 60 and leading causes of disability and loss of independence. This combination offers a natural approach to address the root causes that most conventional treatments ignore until it's too late. Research has shown that the combination of gut-healing compounds with detoxification support and immune regulation can significantly improve inflammatory markers and support tissue repair. When shiitake's immune-modulating effects are added to bone broth's gut healing and parsley's detoxification benefits, you're not just suppressing symptoms temporarily, as drugs do, but actually addressing the underlying causes, gut permeability, toxin overload, and immune dysregulation that worsen dangerously with each passing year. But here's something even more shocking that researchers discovered recently, and I'll reveal it in just a moment after explaining another critical benefit. This powerful trio also supports cognitive protection by reducing neuroinflammation, the chronic inflammatory response in brain tissue that is now recognized as a major contributor to age-related cognitive decline. Many seniors report feeling a noticeable improvement in mental clarity, memory function, and mood stability after several weeks of consistent use. The benefits are particularly noticeable for those with inflammatory-related brain fog, when finding words and maintaining clear thought patterns becomes increasingly difficult without proper anti-inflammatory support. Now for that shocking discovery I promised. A recent clinical analysis found that seniors who consumed healing broths with anti-inflammatory and immune-modulating ingredients regularly had inflammatory markers comparable to individuals 20 to 25 years younger. Meanwhile, those avoiding these traditional foods showed inflammatory escalation consistent with accelerated aging. Think about that. Avoiding these foods could essentially be inflaming your body to the level of someone 2 decades older than your chronological age. Can you really afford to ignore this information? Preparing this powerful combination is simpler than you might think, and I urge you not to wait another day. Start with 2 to 3 pounds of quality bones, chicken, beef, or mixed, from organically raised animals whenever possible to avoid the accumulated toxins in conventional meat. Add 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar, which helps extract minerals from the bones, and cover with filtered water in a large pot or slow cooker. Bring to a boil, then reduce to a very low simmer for 12 to 24 hours. During the final 30 minutes of cooking, add 4 to 5 dried shiitake mushrooms. In the last 10 minutes, add a quarter cup fresh chopped parsley. Strain the broth and store in glass containers. Consume 1 to 2 cups daily, preferably on an empty stomach in the morning, to allow maximum absorption of the healing compounds when your digestive tract isn't processing other foods. For best results, consume this broth consistently over time. The effects are cumulative, meaning the longer you maintain this practice, the more profound the benefits become. But remember, each day you delay is another day your gut lining continues its potentially dangerous deterioration, allowing more toxins to trigger inflammatory responses throughout your body. Now that you understand the powerful benefits of bone broth enhanced with fresh parsley and shiitake mushrooms, let's transition to how you can actually make this part of your daily routine before your gut health and inflammatory status decline any further. If you're still with me and haven't yet clicked that like button, now would be a perfect time to do so. It really helps our channel reach more seniors who could benefit from this potentially life-saving information. And if you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell immediately so you'll be the first to know when we release new videos on natural health solutions, specifically for seniors facing dangerous health declines. Making this powerful healing broth part of your daily routine doesn't have to be complicated, but it does need to happen soon. Let's break down the practical steps to ensure you get maximum benefits with minimum fuss before another day of gut deterioration passes without these critical nutrients. First, let's talk about selecting the right ingredients, and I'll reveal a shocking fact about conventional bone broth products in just a moment. For bones, quality matters tremendously. The bones should come from organically raised, grass-fed animals whenever possible, as conventional factory-farmed animals accumulate environmental toxins in their bones and connective tissues, the very things you'll be extracting into your broth. Marrow bones, joint bones with cartilage, and feet, like chicken feet, provide the highest concentrations of healing compounds. For parsley, fresh is absolutely essential, as dried parsley has lost most of the volatile oils and antioxidant compounds that provide the anti-inflammatory benefits. For Shiitake mushrooms, dried versions actually contain higher concentrations of the immune-modulating beta-glucans than fresh ones, making them preferable for medicinal purposes. Now for that shocking fact I promised, research shows that up to a staggering 85% of commercially available bone broth products don't actually contain effective levels of the critical healing compounds like glycosaminoglycans and collagen peptides. Many are diluted, made with minimal cooking time, or produced using high-heat rapid methods that destroy the very compounds that make bone broth healing. Some don't even use bones at all but rely on artificial flavors and coloring. If you're consuming these inferior products, you're missing out on the critical gut healing benefits when you need them most. To ensure maximum healing potential, either make your own following the proper methods or purchase only from companies that verifiably use long simmering times, at least 12 to 24 hours, and can demonstrate the presence of gelatin through proper gelling when refrigerated. This one simple quality check could make the difference between real healing and wasted effort. The basic recipe is straightforward but does require time. Place 2 to 3 pounds of quality bones in a large pot or slow cooker. Add 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. This helps extract minerals from the bones, and cover with filtered water. Bring to a boil, then reduce to the lowest possible simmer for 12 to 24 hours. This extended cooking time is absolutely critical for extracting the healing compounds. During the final 30 minutes of cooking, add 4 to 5 dried shiitake mushrooms that have been briefly rinsed. In the last 10 minutes of cooking, add a quarter cup fresh chopped parsley. Strain the broth through a fine mesh strainer and store in glass containers in the refrigerator for up to 5 days, or freeze for longer storage. A properly made broth will gel when refrigerated. This indicates the presence of the gelatin and collagen that are essential for gut healing. If your broth doesn't gel, it likely hasn't been simmered long enough or doesn't contain enough collagen-rich materials like joint bones and cartilage. Timing matters significantly with this healing combination, and this is something most people get dangerously wrong. For maximum gut healing benefits, consuming this broth on an empty stomach allows the healing compounds direct access to your intestinal lining without competing with other foods. Many find that having a cup first thing in the morning, at least 30 minutes before breakfast, provides the most noticeable benefits. For anti-inflammatory effects, having it daily provides consistent support to your body's repair systems when they're most vulnerable due to age-related decline. The worst thing you can do is consume this randomly or sporadically. Your gut lining needs consistent collagen and amino acid support to combat the relentless breakdown that comes with age. If you're taking medications, particularly blood thinners, it's important to note that the vitamin K in parsley could potentially interact with these medications. While the amount in a daily cup of this broth is unlikely to cause problems for most people, those on warfarin should maintain consistent intake rather than varying the amount dramatically from day to day, and should consult with their healthcare provider. Just don't use this as an excuse to avoid this powerful combination entirely. The inflammatory risks of continued gut permeability are simply too great. For those concerned about the taste or time commitment, here are some practical solutions that maintain the health benefits. But remember, these are adaptations to help you get started, not excuses to avoid these critical healing foods entirely. For taste concerns, add a small amount of fresh ginger or garlic in the last 30 minutes of cooking for additional flavor and anti-inflammatory benefits. For time constraints, use a slow cooker or pressure cooker that can be left unattended. Though pressure cookers require less time, they may extract fewer compounds. For convenience, make large batches monthly and freeze in single-serving containers for easy daily use. For those who dislike drinking broth, use it as the base for soups or to cook grains like rice, which will absorb the healing compounds. Storage tip: properly cooled broth should be refrigerated in glass containers and used within 5 days. For longer storage, freeze in glass containers with room for expansion or in silicone ice cube trays for single-serving portions. The healing properties remain intact for up to 3 months when frozen properly. Never store in plastic containers, as the hot liquid can cause harmful chemicals to leach from the plastic into your healing broth. If you're finding these practical tips helpful, please take a moment to give this video a thumbs up. It really encourages us to keep creating content like this, specifically for seniors' health needs that conventional medicine continues to ignore. Now let's move on to addressing some common concerns you might have about starting this healing broth regimen, including one shocking misconception that keeps many seniors from experiencing the full benefits. Let's address some of the most common questions and concerns that arise when people start incorporating this healing bone broth combination into their routines, including that shocking misconception I just mentioned that could be sabotaging your gut healing efforts. First, many seniors worry about the cholesterol content in bone broth, and this fear keeps them from experiencing the critical gut healing benefits. Yes, bone broth contains some cholesterol, but here's what most people don't realize. The type of cholesterol in properly prepared bone broth actually supports hormone production and cell membrane integrity, both of which decline dramatically with age. In the context of a daily cup, the amount is moderate and part of a complex matrix of nutrients that help your body process it appropriately. This is dramatically different from processed foods containing damaged fats and oxidized cholesterol. Studies from traditional cultures with high bone broth consumption show excellent cardiovascular health despite this cholesterol intake. However, if you have specific cholesterol concerns, skim the fat that rises to the top after refrigeration. Though be aware that some fat-soluble nutrients will be removed in this process. Just don't let unfounded cholesterol fears rob you of these critical gut healing and anti-inflammatory benefits entirely. Another common concern is the potential for glutamate sensitivity, particularly among those with certain neurological conditions. Bone broth does contain naturally occurring glutamates, which can increase during extended cooking. While these are not the same as the problematic MSG added to processed foods, Some highly sensitive individuals may still react. If you have known glutamate sensitivity, start with shorter cooking times, under 8 hours, and smaller amounts to test your tolerance. Most people find they can adjust to the natural glutamates in bone broth, even when commercial MSG causes problems. Don't let this rare concern prevent you from exploring these life-changing benefits, unless you have a known specific sensitivity. Some seniors worry about the purported heavy metal content in bone broth, a concern that has been greatly exaggerated based on misconceptions about a single flawed study. While bones can contain trace minerals, the addition of parsley specifically helps chelate and remove any heavy metals through its high chlorophyll content. This is precisely why the combination approach is so superior to bone broth alone. But here's what most doctors won't tell you. Many seniors are actually suffering from accumulating environmental toxins that directly trigger inflammatory responses throughout their bodies. This healing broth combination, with its detoxification support, could be exactly what your overloaded system is desperately lacking. If you know someone who might be concerned about these issues, share this video with them by clicking the share button below. It could help them make informed decisions about their health before it's too late. For those with histamine intolerance, it's important to note that long-simmered broths can develop higher histamine levels. However, the addition of fresh parsley actually helps modulate histamine responses through its natural antihistamine flavonoids. If you have severe histamine intolerance, you might consider shorter cooking times, under 8 hours, and freezing portions immediately to prevent histamine formation during storage. What you can't afford to do is nothing. The progressive nature of gut barrier dysfunction means that without intervention, the trajectory is almost always toward increasing food sensitivities and inflammatory responses. What about vegetarian or vegan seniors? While there is no perfect plant-based equivalent that provides the same specific collagen peptides and amino acid profile, those who avoid animal products can still benefit from the parsley and shiitake mushrooms in a vegetable-based broth. Certain seaweeds like Irish moss can provide some gut-soothing properties, though not identical to bone broth. The important thing is not to let dietary preferences prevent you from incorporating some form of these healing foods. The inflammatory consequences of continued gut permeability will affect everyone regardless of dietary philosophy. When incorporated consistently over time, this powerful healing broth delivers benefits that extend far beyond the immediate effects and could literally be life-changing for seniors facing dangerous inflammatory escalation and gut permeability. Long-term users report notable improvements in several key areas of health that are particularly relevant to seniors. If you've been enjoying this information so far, please take a moment to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more health tips specifically designed for seniors who refuse to accept unnecessary suffering and decline. Gut integrity improvements are typically among the first noticeable benefits. The combination of collagen, gelatin, and amino acids helps repair the intestinal lining when most seniors are experiencing frightening increases in gut permeability. Studies have shown that consistent consumption can help maintain this improvement, potentially reducing the toxin leakage that triggers systemic inflammation. Many seniors report that they not only digest meals more comfortably, but actually begin experiencing fewer food sensitivities and autoimmune flares after several months of regular consumption, while their peers continue to develop more sensitivities and require increasingly restricted diets. But wait until you hear about another shocking benefit that few people realize. In a moment, I'll reveal what happens to your skin and tissue healing when your collagen intake improves naturally, and it's not what most people expect. First, let's look at the inflammatory regulation that shows gradual but significant improvement. The combination of gut barrier restoration and immune modulation works cumulatively, helping to control inflammatory responses, which directly influences pain levels and tissue damage, creating a protective environment instead of the dangerous inflammatory cascade that naturally worsens with age, leaving you increasingly vulnerable to joint destruction and tissue degeneration. Immune resilience becomes increasingly better with consistent use, a stark contrast to the dangerous vulnerability that accompanies chronic inflammation and gut permeability. The improved gut barrier function combined with Shiitake's immune modulation creates more balanced immune responses throughout the body. Users often report fewer minor infections, shorter duration of seasonal illnesses, and enhanced overall resilience after 2 to 3 months of regular consumption. Now for that tissue repair connection I promised, the combination of collagen, amino acids, and anti-inflammatory compounds supports skin elasticity and tissue integrity in ways that most seniors never experience. Many long-term users report improved wound healing, reduced skin thinning, and stronger hair and nails, while those continuing without adequate collagen often slide into increasingly fragile skin and tissues they incorrectly blame on getting older. This tissue integrity support becomes increasingly valuable as we age and want to maintain our physical resilience, but it's virtually impossible to achieve without addressing the root causes of collagen depletion and chronic inflammation found in this combination. Cognitive function is another commonly reported long-term benefit that surprises many users. Both chronic inflammation and gut permeability have been strongly linked to cognitive decline through what researchers now call the gut-brain axis. Users frequently report improved mental clarity, better focus, less brain fog, and more stable mood after several months of consistent use, benefits that stem directly from reducing neuroinflammation and supporting proper nutrient absorption. Perhaps most importantly, this natural approach helps many seniors reduce their dependence on both anti-inflammatory medications and digestive aids, many of which come with serious side effects that compound over time. While this healing broth should never replace prescribed medications without medical supervision, many find that it allows them to maintain better comfort and function with fewer pharmaceutical interventions over time, potentially saving them from the dangerous cycle of medication side effects that often require even more medications to address. So now it's on you. Are you going to let this be just another video you scroll past and continuing down the dangerous path of gut deterioration and unchecked inflammation? Or are you actually going to apply this information and experience the potentially life-saving benefits for yourself? The choice to repair your gut lining, control systemic inflammation, and protect your tissues from unnecessary deterioration is now in your hands. But this window of opportunity won't stay open forever. Your intestinal barrier is losing integrity with each passing day, allowing more toxins to trigger inflammatory cascades throughout your body. Start with just the basic bone broth if the full combination seems overwhelming, but don't delay any longer. Begin with properly prepared bone broth. Feel the difference in your digestion and joint comfort. Then gradually add the parsley and Shiitake mushrooms. Remember, consistency matters more than perfection. Even having this powerful healing combination 4 to 5 times per week will begin to yield noticeable benefits, though daily consumption provides the most protection against the frightening inflammatory escalation I've described. Here's a simple weekly plan to get you started before another day of gut deterioration passes. Week 1. Prepare basic bone broth following the long simmering method. Consume 1 cup daily. Week 2. Add fresh parsley during the last 10 minutes of reheating your broth. Week 3 and beyond. Incorporate dried shiitake mushrooms and aim for daily consumption of the complete healing combination. Track your progress by keeping a simple health journal. Note your digestive comfort, joint pain levels, energy, skin condition, and any changes in inflammatory symptoms. This information will be invaluable for both your motivation and for fine-tuning your approach to maximize benefits. Most importantly, it will provide a stark reminder of where your health was heading before this intervention. Remember, this powerful healing broth isn't just about adding something healthy to your diet. It's about potentially saving yourself from the dangerous inflammatory escalation that leads thousands of seniors to disability and dependence each year due to unchecked gut permeability and chronic inflammation. It's about being able to move without constant pain, digest your food properly without discomfort, and maintain the tissue integrity that keeps you active and independent instead of increasingly frail and vulnerable. If you found this information valuable, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with friends and family members who might benefit before it's too late for them too. Click the share button below this video to quickly send it to someone who could use this potentially life-saving information. Health challenges don't have to be faced alone, and simple, natural approaches like this are meant to be shared before the window of opportunity closes. For a detailed printable recipe card with exact measurements and instructions, check out the link in the description or scan the QR code on your screen now. I've also included a comprehensive guide to selecting quality bones and properly preparing this healing broth to ensure maximum medicinal value. Critical information that ensures you get the full benefits rather than wasting your time and money on inferior methods or ingredients. And if something here made you stop and think, hit subscribe, turn on notifications, and click the bell immediately. Because if you like this, what's coming next could be even more critical for your health. Next week, we'll be exploring the powerful food combination that's helping thousands of seniors maintain brain function naturally, without medication or expensive supplements. Can you really afford to miss that information? I don't think so. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up and watch this next video for more potentially life-saving information you can't afford to miss.